Put it in the books. Put it in the fucking books. Do we say that when we lose? I think it's the first actual post-game loss we've had. We joined in both the losses mid-game, so this is put it in the books. It's no, we can't put it in the books. No, that's a winning phrase. We do not say that. This is Mets Fans Anonymous. The fucking junkies are out. Fucking everyone's shaking. They're foaming at the mouth. They're blowing bubbles. They're fucking relapsing. My timeline, I'm sure your timeline that we got to believe timeline mentions are on fire. Yep. People are not doing well. I'm not doing well.
If you're going to lose, just lose the game. Especially like even the last Cano hit, it looked like it was going up the middle. They just do every single thing they can to tear your heart out right when they lose.
And I like looked away and I heard the crack of the bat and I saw it was one of those you can't really tell on TV whether it's going in the center or the second base, the middle infield, the second baseman, shortstop has a chance at it and right into his glove.
Another completely lost night. I mean, Cespedes is up before him swinging at balls. I get that he has a good curveball and that you're trying to crush the ball and end the game, but you can't be swinging out of the zone at that point. He almost hit him with one pitch, which would have tied the game.
Yep.
It's just bad baseball. Bad baseball.
It was a fucking DeGrom start, and yeah, all right. So I guess we could even go start back at the beginning again. Jake wasn't perfect today. He looked like mortal. He didn't look like shit, but he looked mortal. The umpire did him no favors. The umpire did no one favors the entire game, to be honest with you. I'm not an umpire guy, but it is what it is. I feel like Jake wasn't all that pleased with Rene Rivera either.
He was pissed.
Yeah,
he was shooting them looks in the dugout.
Yeah,
especially you have to block that ball. They said he had one other game where he's had 2 wild pitches in his entire career in a game.
Oh.
There's a guy on third. You got to get down there.
You got to get down there. Oh, my God. And, offense gives a run early, but doesn't, continue to do damage when they can. And then it kind of just goes back and forth the rest of the way. Eovaldi is like, this is the first major league pitcher we've faced out of the Red Sox. So it's like.
We had 15 hits tonight.
Yeah, exactly. 50. This was. It was like opening weekend. Everyone said, the Mets got a whole season's worth potentially in the 3 games of the season where it looked like they might cancel the season with the Marlins. Whereas like you had the opening day win and a Jake close game with a no decision. You had your guts ripped out by Edwin Diaz and then you got blown out and embarrassed on national TV. But this was a very Metsy game. 15 hits, have a chance to win it at the end, tie it at the end, give it up late. Jake no decision. The bullpen. We can get into the bullpen too. I have a hard time really getting upset at the bullpen. Not like last season, like nothing at all, but
right.
It's like when the guys are rested, they're good. If when the guys are rested, they're good. I'm all right with them. It's like Justin Wilson. I can't get on him. The guy's pitched like every fucking game this season.
Four out of 6, and it's like you have Betances warming up. You've already let up 1 run. That's the difference in the ball game. They score 4 runs at that point. You take him out, you put Betances in, he gets out of the inning, and then we score 2 runs and win.
Exactly.
Those are the little things that you have to be prepared for, and it's like he's a step behind with the bullpen, I think especially. Everything else has been like
whatever.
You could argue one way or the other, but the bullpen, it's clear that he's having these thoughts after the fact, and someone needs to be chirping in his ear like, hey, get this guy up. Hey, somebody's ready to go. Like, you may want to put him in this situation. I mean, lefty on righty, and Wilson's tired and struggling. How do you not get him out of the game there?
Yeah, that's what drives me nuts. It's like he had the window to do it, and again, it's like you're going to have growing pains with a new manager managing a 60-game season with pandemic and all this shit kind of makes it a little harder. I mean, Beltran, I don't know what he would have done in the same situation. I mean. I can't even get into fucking thinking about different managers and this butterfly effect we live in right now in terms of what could have been done. It's just that's the kind of shit that frustrates me with managers. It's like as a Giants fan, Pat Shurmur, everyone was like, can he develop, Daniel Jones, this and that? It's like, but at the core of it, he was making bad in-game decisions where like he didn't challenge stuff or call the timeout at the right time. And I'm like, at that rate, you cannot have a coach or manager who's that flawed in just game management. And in baseball, you have to hit like 3 buttons, and if you don't hit them right, that's what happens. You know what I mean? That's how you lose a game.
And it's like Conforto, one of our hottest hitters, comes up. It's bases loaded. All you have to do is put the ball in play, sacrifice fly. It's just they're not doing the little things they need to, like to push the buttons at the right time. And it's unfortunate, and it is what it is. Speaking of that, not pushing the buttons at the right time, I was a complete jinx all night. Hand up, I'll take part of that out.
I got a couple of tweets saying, whoever's running the Gotta Believe account right now is jinxing them. And then I went to the account and I checked a little later, and you went right to DeGrom, to Lugo, and then as the ball's leaving the yard, I saw that tweet and I was like, "Yep, all right, Kyle. So you're on the jinx watch list."
No, Clem, I can give you the full rundown. Jimenez gets his first hit ever. I'm like, oh, clap it up for the rookie. Immediately gets picked off. Then I say, Rene Rivera throws out the runner after having like a million changeup calls, and I'm like, that's how you call a game. That's why all the pitchers wanted him in there, and then he misses that, and then I did the DeGrom Lugo, right. and we were rallying, and I did the Tupac dancing gif, like, oh, here we go, and we immediately hit into a double play. I was like, I stopped tweeting at the end of the game. That whole last inning, I just set it down.
Yeah, you have 2 strikes on you now, Kyle. There's nothing we can do because it's like just not tweeting the game is the only other option. There's no.
That's my job, so it's like, what do I do?
Yeah, jinxes are fucking. I believe jinxes are not real. I've turned the pages. I've gotten older and tireder. We are now like again turning into the old men that like I don't care about jinxes, but that's a tough look for you right there. Going back to Jimenez. I said that I tweeted this. You do not get to keep the baseball if you get picked off at first. You fucking throw that shit into the stands, blow it up,
make him get it later.
Ball. You do, you have to go get it. You give it to Yo, and he just rifles that shit as far as he can in the stadium, and you got to go through like the bowels of Citi Field to find your first hit baseball. That's a rule. I mean, Jimenez looked good. He had the triple, which was huge tonight on the day Jose Reyes retires, no less. We get a shortstop hitting a big triple. That was kind of a sweet little like circle of life stuff.
That's going to be a thorn in our side, though, because now you see that he could hit, and he's one of the best fielders on the team, and then you have to watch Cano out there day after day after day, and it's like, at what point do you put Rosario at shortstop and him at second and just have a great young tandem for the rest of the year?
I've been like trying to figure out how to say this correctly. Robinson Cano, I'm almost happy he's here, almost. Because it is a subtle reminder of just the kind of bullshit we've had to deal with for basically ever as a Mets fan. There's always just that one fucking guy, that one fucking thorn in the side that's always on our lineup or on our team, in our lineup, in the bullpen, whatever it is. There's one just giant thorn that's like, and he's weighted down by the dead money. Jason Bay. I mean, David Wright was just dead on the team, but you loved him so much he didn't care. Obviously, the insurance money that they pocketed. And Robinson Cano is almost like the reminder of what life has been like as a Mets fan. So it's like I kind of love that like dull tooth pain that is Robinson Cano. And when you bite down or like need a guy not to hit into a double play and he hits into an inning and a double play, you're like, that's right. That's what its life is like as a Mets fan. So thank you, Brody, for trading away potentially a future all-star for the worst closer in baseball last year and a fucking anchor on this team for the next 3 years, whatever it is, that's going to be blocking the spots to have Jeff McNeil play second, Jimenez play second, whoever the fuck else, and just completely throw our defense into disarray. Because our defense, I'm watching the game, I'm like, who the fuck, like, who's our left fielder? We don't have a left fielder. We just don't have a left fielder. And like,
we put Dom Smith in left field. You put Dom Smith in left field to start, and then you replace him with JD Davis, and it's like every single ball that's hit out there, it's not being caught. There's a ground rule double in the last inning. I was like, what the fuck's going on? Like, where are you playing these people? And you got Nimmo, who can't go back on a ball, never been able to go back on a ball. God. I don't believe that, by the way, the Gelbs report, like, good on Gelbs for saying what he said, but there's no way, because DeGrom turned around. He's like, well, what the fuck was that?
Yep. And Gary Keith and Ron, they're kind of calling out the defense already, which I like. They're calling it on the infield, the outfield, everything, Nimmo included. And Marisnik, I saw he just went on the DL, so he's not even an option. So
I got to get Lagares back. as terrible as that sounds, they need somebody who can field at least. That's our best option, and that's sad.
Oh my God. It's it's time is a flat circle as a Mets fan. That's what it is. It just comes back, and they're like, it's like a bad case of burps, and they just keep fucking coming back up, and you just burp them back up. And that's what Reyes was at the end of his career. We get Lagares back. God, Nimmo's defense is driving me crazy. And it's like on a Jake start, you just can't lose a Jake start in a season like this. You can't lose it. And the Red Sox are a good team, but they were resting guys. Eovaldi wasn't exactly sharp, and we just let him off the hook. What is that?
You know what? I got to give credit to their lineup, though, because DeGrom was pumping, and they were fouling off so many good pitches that they wore him down. And then, dribbler here, liner there. It is what it is. I'm kind of fucked them on some of those calls, but at the end of the day, they made a lot of contact on balls. He's throwing 99 to 100.
Yeah, and he's throwing fucking cheddar. I saw he had like a 101 earlier in the he's just letting it ride right now. 11 left on base, 8 runners in scoring position. I mean, what the – and that's exactly what it feels like. It's just so frustrating. And by the end of the game, you're so tired. And it's because you're tense every time you have the guy on base or the guy in the runners in scoring position, and you're just all fired up, and then it just deflates you at the end of it. I feel like we had second and third, first and third, bases loaded, all these different times, and just walked away with 1 run, no runs. It's fucking so
That's what I'm saying. Like the situational baseball. That's why I love Dom Smith. Dom Smith, you put him in the situation. So I was lefty. So for that reason, I don't like the lefty on lefty trope. I get why you bring in JD Davis at that point, but you're a rookie manager. You have to realize you bring in JD Davis, they're going to make the switch also. Yeah. So it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. They bring in the righty and they strike out JD Davis. I'd rather see Dom Smith get a shot there at that point. Yeah. It's not like he can't hit lefties.
And JD, that was a tough at bat for JD. Conforto had a tough at bat at the end. I mean, hey, that's the other side of it too. It's like they just beat us at the end of it. It wasn't like Yo. I thought Yo was going to do something. I mean, he had the bomb, which was awesome. Just came up short again, and he had that. What was it? Was it the cutter that he missed?
Yeah.
And I was like, and you see Yo hit that 2015. Yo hits that a mile.
Yes.
And
he knew that was his pitch too.
Yeah. 100%.
Lugo looks good.
Alonso looked good for first 4-hit game of his career. I read somewhere, which was pretty shocking. I thought he probably had one of those last year. I know he wasn't he batted with 260 for the season, but I thought he had at least one of those 2 home run, just fucking crazy games where he was hitting the shit out of the ball. Lugo giving up a run. I mean, I'm not worried. Sucks you basically can't use him tomorrow now. So I don't know. We used him. We have Betances. Will be interesting to see how he goes. This was back-to-back nights here, right?
Yep.
So tomorrow, we're going to be seeing Eddie tomorrow. It sounds like we'll be seeing unless
Familia looked great.
Yeah, Familia look skinny Familia.
He's shattering bats. They were talking about him in pregame. They said that everyone that was facing him on the team's like, this is the best we've seen him in years. I always have a soft spot for him because he always used to just get out of the difficult situations. He put himself in them over and over again, but that was remember Brian Wilson with the Giants?
Yep.
That dude would load the bases every single time he got out, but he'd just get out of it. So it's like, if you can get that back into you where it's not out of your control when there's people on base, I'm fine with him pitching if he's going to be decent.
No, it's if he wasn't skinny, I'm going to just come out and say it. Skinny Familia is a different person. He's a different person. And until Skinny Familia burns me the way Thick Familia burns me, I am going to put my heart in – it's not even his hands. I'm putting it in a blender that says Skinny Familia. And I know that there's puree, chop, all these different things that he could do to my heart. But I'm giving it to him right now because I don't have a fucking other option. And I don't think – Rojas is going to be able to manage his way around that because he's not doing it so far with the bullpen. I just need to believe in someone other than Lugo because Lugo obviously gave the hit. Wilson, Lugo not going to be able to work tomorrow, right? 2 games in a row doesn't work. Wilson is going to die. We're Pedro Felicianoing his arm right now, slowly but surely. And then Betances, 2 in a row, 3 in a row. I don't trust that. So we're going back into the bullpen, which again –
Can they bring in Brock and Hughes back? Can they taxi squad those guys in?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how that works. If you have to do it 2 days in advance, or if you could do it day of. Because we have to be able to use one of those guys. I would imagine.
That would be clutch if we could get if we could get Brock in. I don't see anything here. Hughes, I saw just like he's on his way back too. I saw someone tweeted that reliever. He rejoined him 4 days ago, but I don't know how that all that shit works. But I'll take whatever the fuck I can get.
Well, we're gonna be in such a tough spot tomorrow. If Matz doesn't have a good first inning, like that's pretty much his like litmus test. If he has a good first inning, then you're like, okay, maybe we'll cruise and get like 5 innings, 6 innings out of him. Mm-hmm. But let's say he doesn't have a good game, like. Your whole bullpen is shot, and this is again a game where you're going to be able to take the series, and we're going to drop another series because of pitching. Like they're going to have to come out to hit tomorrow.
Yes. They got Perez, who I guess got hit hard the first game. I didn't see the Sox and all that shit. You just can't do this. You can't give up 6 runs in a DeGrom start. And again, DeGrom wasn't lights out, but he had what did the streak end up finishing at by the time it was all said and done?
32.
I mean, that's. Strychnine.
31.
Strychnine. Talking about Strychnine going. I mean, it's sticking. Strychnine sticking. After the depths of Frank's fucking thing, we're going with Strychnine with him.
Oh, and that picture of him standing behind JD before he came in to pinch hit, I was like, there's no shot we're getting hit
that
now.
Was it. I love Frank. We have to move that head to the other side, and like he's staring a hole through the person. We need to put that behind the visitors' dugout so they just see him when they get out of the dugout. Fucking Frank the Tank staring a hole through them in his fedora hat. I could talk myself into Mad Dog Hughes too, just because of the eyes. I know he'll probably fucking stink, but Matt's. This is it. You do it against Boston's lineup. After the first one, I will start believing in the legend of Steven Matz figuring it out. This is how I'm feeling about not only baseball but all sports. Anyone who's like a young guy who's like inconsistent, I feel like a crowd not being there has to be good for your psyche, no?
Yeah.
You don't have all that shit to deal with. It's just it's basically a pseudo practice game. Obviously, it counts. Because Daniel Jones with the Giants, I'm like he's not going to have to go to Philly and have all the scumbag Eagle fans throwing batteries at him. He just
don't have to deal with the crowd noise.
Yeah, he just deals with the athletic freaks trying to, take his head off, but he has to worry about that anyway. Plus, 180,000, whatever it is. So maybe this is like we just need Steven Matz to pitch in front of empty stadiums. I'll take it if that's all that's needed. From a Phillies fan, Jared Hughes is one of the worst pitchers I've ever seen, and the Phillies have had their share of dog shit in the bullpen. So that's not.
Well, that's the gif of the catcher shaking his head.
Yeah,
he like checks who's running in. He's like, God damn it, I hate this town.
Oh man. Workman came in. He looked. I mean, he's gonna be a roller coaster for. I have him in my fantasy league, and I just drafted him just to get a closer. I can tell you what, I'm not gonna enjoy that. That's gonna be at least very much a whip nightmare, if not an ERA.
Yeah.
Save.
He could not figure out where the ball was going.
Yeah, exactly. But other than that, Alonso looked good. Cano went 2 for. Well, you ended up going 2 for 5. He's not hitting the shit out of the ball. I could just use a few hardline drives from him and just no more double plays. It's not even that. It's honestly like he hits it. And then he has to do like a dizzy bat 3 times out of the batter's box because by the time he's getting doubled out, he's not even in the picture on the camera. And I know he lollygags the first. He's always been that. It drives me. It's just going to drive me crazy. I'm not trying to.
His swing, it's tailor-made double play over and over and over again. And it's like, if you're not going to be able to drive the ball to the point where it's at least going to ricochet or you're going to be able to get some hits through the middle, like there's never any speed to it. It's like it's a liner down the line or it's a slow ground ball up the middle.
Yep. And we have 3 more years of that. Awesome. Thanks, Brody. You fucking scumbag. You fucking clown scumbag.
I hope that he just pulls a Kadire and goes, I'm trash. Save your money. I know he's not going to. Kadire, that was a godsend. But, at what point, like a self-respecting person, you've already made all of this money. Like, please stop stealing ours.
And the best part is that his agent who got him that contract is our GM right now, which is like such a fucking joke of, the fact that this is how it's all planned out. When across the dugout, their GM, who obviously traded Mookie because he basically had to, is going to probably build the Red Sox into a fucking, contender. I still don't know how the Wilpons got Chaim Bloom in for an interview and then gave it to Brody Van fucking Wagon in the job. I just don't understand how you could get Bloom in, get him to the final two, and then you don't hire him for a fucking joke of a general man. I just don't understand it. It does not compute in my brain. Say it, Kyle. Say it. What's the creed? This season
is fraudulent. We're just here for Steve Cohen.
Uncle Stevie is coming. This season
Uncle Stevie is, yes.
Stevie is coming. The season is fraudulent anyway. That's basically what Uncle Stevie is taking over. Oh my God. I don't know how we're gonna do this. I don't know how we're gonna do this. This is game 6.
6.
I'm losing my fucking mind already. I mean an entire game.
I was having like actual fits watching the game, like smacking the table and my bed and whatever else was in like eyesight at the moment. And I'm like, if you would have just lost the game, go 1, 2, 3. Like, yes. I'm just trying to jump on the computer and talk to my buddy Clem and go to bed. Like, give me a break.
I've said that a lot. Like, I'm more than happy with, like, you win 6-3, you lose 6-3. You win 6-3, you lose 6-3. Like, it's like the 6-3, but you're up 3-0, and then they gut you, and then whatever. That's when it drives me crazy. Games like tonight drives me crazy. I would have been very happy if they had just taken that lead and then just mowed us down the rest of the way. I'd probably be able to sleep a lot better.
And the way they took the lead on that little fucking dink hit. Apparently, they heard him up in the press box. McNeil, he was screaming so loud. Yeah, I hope that he every time he messes up. But I mean, you're out of it at that point, and you hit a little dink roller like that. It's just like so Mets. So Mets.
The 90s Yankees won so many games with that kind of shit. Like Derek Jeter hitting the ball off home plate, and it would just go sky high, and there was no play to be made. I feel like they won roughly 80 games a year like that, even though it's not possible. That's just what it feels like. And for that to be, and that's the other thing. Like Wilson didn't look good. They said it. They even said in the broadcast, like his control was all over the place. But like he also had shit luck, and it's like that's just how basic baseball season. But it does count for something. You just hope you're on the other. When you're on the other side of it, it just feels so fucking good. But when you're on this side of it, it hurts, and it hurts when you're the goddamn Mets who just never have it go for them. It seems when you're in the shit. So tomorrow, Mets versus Perez. If we splitting this series, this 4-game series with the Red Sox would hurt.
You can't do it. You can't do it.
Pitching looks, yeah.
This was supposed to be, like I said, this was supposed to be the hardest schedule of any team in baseball up to this point. If we already should have taken one series, if we don't take this series and then we still have to play these teams that are like now getting comfortable, like we're so screwed.
Yep.
I mean, the Red Sox are the worst out of the span that we were supposed to play.
This was supposed to be the get healthy series, and then
right
from there, and then anything, and honestly, with Mets, I feel like with Mets, no, it's not even true. I'd say the first inning, you're going to get from Mets, but he also does have those occasional like third inning. He just forgets like how to pitch, and then it's just it goes from 2 innings, 1 hit, shutout to 3 1/3, 8 runs, and you're just like, what the fuck did just happened here? So. I guess we'll see. We're going to need him to go a little deeper too, because the bullpen again. We're definitely getting our closer that we traded our first round pick for. So you see Robin Diaz, strict 9, probably coming out onto the bump, and we'll see. Hopefully the Brock is available. That's my guy. I'm hoping he can come in, kind of get things rolling. And tomorrow we're going to have I don't know if Kev definitely confirmed it, but I think we're going to have Carabas and I think Coley on, and we're going to do a little crossover pod with the Section 10 coming in peace. These are our friends. They're part of the Mets Sox Alliance. Obviously, we're battling right now, but we're not only going to need them to shut the Yankee fans up for the rest of our lives, but we need them to beat all the NL East teams they play from here on out, because I don't think this is going to be a very easy season, Kyle.
I don't think so. Are we pulling double duty tomorrow then? Are we doing? We're doing full pod and then post game.
We'll do the pod, the weekly pod in the probably around noon, and then the recap pod, I mean, we'll see. I think the recap pods, we're going to try to do them obviously as much as possible. I love having the chat. This is Mets Fans Anonymous. This is basically what the quarantine is for, is everyone's home and everyone doesn't have to worry about commuting to work, so they can stay up a little later. So we'll maybe go on tomorrow. I mean, we haven't missed a game yet. If we go all 60 and do this 60 times, it's going to be, I said to someone on Twitter, this is like Faces of Meth. You're just going to see us slowly degrade into fucking just straight up junkies who like want to like,
oh God,
falling off. So we'll see, but we're definitely going to have the pod tomorrow. Coley and Carabas hopefully coming on and talking some and just figure out what the fuck that team's doing and what we're doing, and maybe try to come to a now that the Mookie thing is done with, reestablish the strength that is the Met Sox allegiance.
Yep.
That's all you need to know.
We'll just put that up with like the Mike Tyson picture with the Met hat on.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get Frank. Frank will come on at some point. I promise you guys. Frank will come on at some point. I need Frank after a win though, because he is so goddamn negative. And I love Frank, but he's just so negative that I can't handle that right now. I am in a very fragile state. I'm screaming by myself. I don't even care about waking up my 2-year-old, which then ruins like the rest of my night. That's where I'm at right now. I don't need Frank, who's saying they're never going to win a game again when they just won the last 2 games. So yeah, it's hard to. We need to get Frank on at the right time. Also need to make sure we have his teeth. We can't have Frank like, grinding any more teeth out. So we need to make sure his teeth are firmly in place and ready to rock. So, what do we do, Kyle?
Other than that, gotta believe.
Gotta believe.